Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at and installing our Stealth Hitch on our 2026 BMW X5. Now you're wondering, where's the hitch at? I know you can't see it here on the back. All we have to do is turn our knob to where it stops. Then all we do is just push our hitch up into place, and our knob will automatically lock it in place, and we're all set for our bike racks or our cargo carrier. So whenever you're done with your bike racks, cargo carriers, whatever you're using it for, all you'll have to do is just turn your knob. Just go ahead and pop that out, and it comes with a rubber plug. Another nice thing about this one is this will actually lock in place, so it does have a key setup that comes with it and a tumbler lock, and it will lock in place so that way nobody can take this while you're out and about. So say you're done with your bike rides or whatever for the weekend, you can always just put this away, and it doesn't even look like there's a hitch here on the back at all. Now, as far as your accessories go for this one, with your bike racks or cargo carriers, this is going to be able to hold up to 600 pounds. So that's a pretty good weight. That's going to hold up some of your heavier e-bikes, your cargo carriers loaded down with all your gear. So this is a really good option if you're looking for a hitch that's not going to stay on it all the time. Maybe you don't plan on using it all the time. Maybe use it only on the weekends or maybe during the seasons or something. And you just want to keep the good looks of your BMW. And this is the way to do that. All you have to do is just turn the knob, take this off, put it away, and it's good to go. Then whenever you want to use it, you just pop it back in place and use it for whatever you need. Now, as far as measurements go for this hitch, with the receiver on it, your pinhole is going to come out past your bumper, so you should be good to go with any of your bike racks that fold up or stow away, or even your cargo carriers that fold up. You shouldn't have any problems with them making any contact with the back of your vehicle. Now, this hitch is going to be 2-inch by 2-inch receiver, so it's going to accommodate most of your accessories that are on the market. Another thing as well, it's going to accommodate a 5/8 pin and clip, and that's going to hold any of your accessories in place. Now, this won't come with a pin and clip, but keep in mind, most of your accessories on the market now already have a pin and clip with them. One of the nice things about it is you're still able to use your kick sensor. So if you have any questions or comments about this Stealth Hitch for your BMW X5, you can always leave a question or comment down below in the comment section, or you can get a hold of one of our experts here at eTrailer. They'd be glad to help you out. Now, as far as the installation goes, this is pretty tricky. I'd call this a 10 out of a 10. There's a lot of steps to it, and you will be removing the rear fascia, so it is pretty tricky. But it's something you can do if you got time to do it on the weekend or something and have a couple buddies over. You could definitely get it done. But if it's something you don't have time or the tools to do or the space to do it, you can always take a look at our dealer locator and get something done for you locally. If it's something you feel like tackling yourself, stick around, watch our video, and we'll help you get it installed. To start our installation, we're going to need to get our rear fascia off. So what I did is went ahead and taped everything up, so when we start to pull all this off, we're not going to damage any of our paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our hatch open, and what we're going to need to do is to get our tail lights out, we're going to have a 10mm nut up in the back of this side, and we're going to have another one on the other side. On this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out our little access panel, and then up in the back, we're going to feel right up in the back, and there's going to be a little flap. And inside that little flap is going to be our 10mm nut. Now, it's going to be really hard for you to see, but what I'm going to use is a deep well socket and a small ratchet, and I'm going to get up in there and I'm going to start breaking that loose. Using one of my stubby ratchets, I'm just going to get back up in there. Using a shorter one's just going to make it a little bit easier for me. Now, that was a 12mm socket that I used. I thought that was going to be a 10, but on this one it's a 12, and it's buried back up in there. There's going to be a flap that you'll feel, and it's really hard to find out where that's at. Just kind of feel around for it, and you'll feel the flap, and right in there will be your 12mm. Now, right behind and beside our tail light, we're going to have this plastic trim piece, and we just want to pull that back, and that comes out pretty easily, and that'll just pop out of the way. We're going to have two T30 screws that hold in the side of our taillight. Just going to get those backed out. These are a little tricky to get at with our seal here. I recommend holding onto your tail light while you're doing this part so it doesn't fall out. Now we can pull our tail light assembly out. Behind our light, we're going to have our plug in, and all we want to do is just pull the little red tab out. And behind that, we're going to have a little black clip. Pull that back. Now we can set our tail light aside. Now for our next step, we're going to need to get in behind our fender well liner, and we're going to need to get our wheel trim pulled back so we can get to an 8mm nut right behind here. So with our inner wheel liner pulled back, it's going to give us a little more room. So we're going to have some plastic tabs back behind here, and you're going to have to feel to get at that, but you're going to have a little lock tab on there. You just want to push that in, and a little bit of outward pressure. A plastic clip tool also helps out with this. You push in on that tab while you're pulling back, and work your way up, and you'll feel where them tabs are. And just carefully pull that back. With a little bit of pressure, we'll just work our way up till we have that back. Our goal is to get to that. Now what I like to do is I'll just take a piece of paper towel that's rolled up, and I'll stuff that back here so it gives me some room. With an 8mm socket, I'll just get this 8mm back here, broke loose, and get that backed out, and we'll do that on both sides. Now we're going to have our reflector, and behind here we're going to have a screw we're going to need to get to. So I'm just going to carefully pull this out. You want to be very careful with these. These are very fragile. Now behind here we're going to have an 8mm screw. We're just going to get that removed. Now up here where our tail light housing goes, we're going to have an 8mm on both sides. Might as well just get those while we're at it. Underneath of our vehicle, we're going to have our lower splash shield all the way across. We're going to need to get removed. So these are mostly going to be 10mm, so I'm going to go ahead and start back here with these. And I'm just going to keep working my way around. Get our center section pulled out of the way. Set that aside. Now with our side panels, we can just pull them back and set those aside. Now working along from our fender well over, we're going to carefully pull back our fascia and just work our way up along the back. Now using a trim tool, I'm just going to push down on these tabs as I'm pulling back. You'll see the little tabs down in there. And that's going to release your clips. Now back along the back, we're also going to have these clips, so we're just going to be careful as we're doing this. The next set of hands, we'll just get our fascia pulled back, and we are going to have a wiring harness, and we're going to have two tabs on the sides. We just need to push those tabs in. That'll unlock it. Now we can remove our fascia. Now to get our bumper beam, we're going to have our bolts, our nuts back behind here. So what I want to do is get this trim piece here out of the way, just to give us a little more room. So carefully, you just want to get a screwdriver under these pop clips and pull them out. Be careful not to slip with your screwdriver. Now you're going to have your lower tailgate here. You're probably going to have to move that around to get that to pop out. Now we just need to pop this out, and underneath here you're going to have these little tabs, and on our other side I just kind of popped up on that and we got that to pop out. It just kind of has these little clips that clip down in, and we'll do the same on the other side. For our kick sensor on the back, we're going to have 5 push pins we're going to need to remove. Just use a screwdriver and pop those out. With all those out, we'll just swing this down out of the way. Now, underneath of our bumper beam, we're going to have this little Christmas tree style clip that holds our wiring in place. Just want to use a clip tool and pry that out. We're going to have another little connector up underneath of our bumper beam. I'm just going to disconnect that so I can get that wire out of the way. With a 13mm socket, I'm going to remove these nuts that hold on our exhaust hangers. And usually I would strap these up, but I have supports under there that's going to hold it. Usually I would strap up my exhaust, but there's another exhaust hanger further down the line that's going to hold it up. And as you can see, it's good and stable. We just needed to get these mounts freed. With a 19mm socket, we're going to have 4 19mm nuts on each side. We get down to our last one, we want to make sure we're holding up our bumper beam. Now we can lift it out of the way. Now with our bumper beam out of the way, we're not going to be reusing that. So now we'll just take our Stealth Hitch and we'll get that lifted into position. You want to be very careful here because we have that tailgate. It will be a little bit of a tight fit with our thick powder coat. So now we have that set in place. Now we can take our brackets that come in our kit, and that's going to be for our exhaust hangers. We'll take our factory nuts and just get those started. And run those down as far as you can by hand. Now I want to take my hardware in our kit and we're going to get our exhaust bracket back in place. We want to take our washer, put that on our bolt, run that down through. We'll take our bracket, line that up with our pin, have an alignment pin there. Now we'll come back through with our flange nut and just get that started. Now I went ahead and snugged these down just a little bit. And what I want to do, take a 13mm socket, and I'm just going to get this snugged up for now. Torque down our factory nuts to the specified torque listed in our instruction manual. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can pick one up here at eTrailer. We do have some options available, or you can take a look at your local auto parts store. You should be able to rent one there. As we'll get our kick sensor put back in place, and on the back of our hitch we're going to have this area here. We can mount that up, and we have room for 3 push pins. So we're just going to use our existing push pins that we took off and get those popped in place. And after you do that, don't forget to come back through and plug everything back in. So since we don't have a place to plug in this little Christmas tree, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie this off with a wire tie down here to this bolt, and it'll just keep it in place. It'd probably be okay with where it's at, but I'd rather just get it tied off. Now we need to trim out our lower panel, and you just want to follow your diagram and your instructions and just make sure you just trace it out where they have it, and I'll come through with my multi-cutter tool and I'll just get that cut out. Now we'll need to get our hitch block in place, and all we're going to do is make sure we have our handle or our knob on the passenger side. Then we're going to run that up into place. Might have to tap that a little bit. Just line that up. Get those pushed through. Now we'll take our supplied nuts and get those started onto our bolt ends. Now let's come back through and snug down all of our hardware. and torque down our 2 bolts to our hitch block. With everything plugged in, torqued down, and back in place, we'll just go ahead and get our fascia and all of our other components put back in place in reverse order. And that was a look at our Stealth Hitch on our 2026 BMW X5. I'm Scott with eTrailer, and thanks for watching.